I once got told not to hire someone in like a pretty subtle way. I was doing a reference call for someone I was seriously considering hiring. And I could tell that this person, their former boss, was afraid to say anything bad about them explicitly.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they told me answers to the questions with no enthusiasm at all.
Mm-hmm.
Does this person lead others well? She's been in multiple situations where she's had the chance to lead and she's executed on all the required tasks. It was like that, and I got the message. Welcome to Next Job Now,
the podcast where we help you get your next job
right now. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Greg Langstaff. I'm a certified resume strategist. I've written over 2,000 resumes, and I love helping people get new jobs.
And I'm Jeff, and I have a lot of questions about job searching. Together, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about landing your next role. Today, we are talking about references. We're talking about who you should list, how you ask for a reference, what employers are actually asking and checking for, and what role references actually play in landing the job. Greg, what is the overall purpose of providing references?
Okay, so it's very scary to hire someone, and references are kind of that check and balance from the hiring manager to make sure that this person is not a nightmare to work with. That's because anyone can pretend to be pleasant and kind and efficient for an hour in an interview, and the reference is there to make sure that everything you said was true and that you're not, in fact, terrible as a person.
Terrible as a person.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that if we get to choose who we give our references, why would we be giving people who are going to say that you are a terrible person?
Well, that is the song and dance of references, is that we need to at least have accumulated enough strong relationships in our working history to have 2 to 3 people who have nice things to say about us. And if you can do that, then yeah, you are pretty much in the clear.
So who are these people that I should be developing relationships? And who do I have to list someone specifically on my references, like my last employer?
There aren't any specific rules typically of who serves as your reference. The best reference is probably going to be someone who's been your direct supervisor. Your current manager is always a great one if you have the kind of relationship where you can ask them. But if not, past managers. You could also go with people who are maybe a step above, senior leaders, past clients if you work more independently. Colleagues are fine as well, but that's typically as far as I would stretch it.
You said 2 things there that I want to jump into. One, your current employer, and you said if you have that kind of relationship with them.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Some people are very rightfully afraid to tell their current employer that they're job searching. If you don't have a good situation there, they may lash out at you because you're job searching. They may start to punish you in subtle ways, treat you poorly.
Post your job.
I guess that's a very extreme version of it. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of scary. And I think a lot of employers do understand that maybe you wouldn't list your current manager as a reference because a lot of people don't want to share that information.
You also mentioned like a senior manager, maybe someone above your current manager. Mm-hmm. I've also seen people kind of reach for the stars, asking the CEO who they talked to once at a networking event or sat at their table during a banquet. What's an appropriate level? And when do we know that that's a safe person to ask?
I mean, the best reference is going to be someone who can speak to exactly what you've done, the quality of your work, and their experience working with you. So a CEO who you've met once is not a good reference because they're not going to be able to share those details, versus someone closer to your work, whether it's your boss or their boss, is probably going to be able to answer those questions a lot more in detail and actually provide like an example and the feeling of what it's like to work with you.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about what these references calls Who's the one asking? Who does the reference call?
So on the hiring side, a reference call could be either the hiring manager themselves,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be someone from HR. Now, the range of what they're asking about will sort of vary. An HR call might just be calling from one HR to the next to say, hi, so I have on Jeff's resume that he worked there from 2022 to 2024, and his job was manager of special projects. Is that true? And some calls are just that.
Okay. The hiring manager should be the one making that call and using judgment to make sure that you're not a terrible person.
Okay, so that's the other kind of reference call. It is often the hiring manager, and they are trying to glean more detail around like what it's like to work with this person. Are they reliable? Are they kind and like collaborative? Like those reference calls are usually helpful, as like are usually more common. But what I'm saying is that like there are two different types of reference calls that happen.
Okay. One to verify that you work there, that things are factual and
Yeah.
true. And then there's the other where the hiring manager is making that call to help kind of understand your working style, if you're a good fit for the role. Are those calls going to influence whether or not you're getting hired?
I mean, it's interesting because like, okay, reference calls are a little bit of a game in that hiring managers know that you're going to give a name of someone who's going to say some really nice stuff about you.
Mm-hmm.
So they are also often just asking, what has this person done? Have they done this? And they're almost verifying like the stories you told in the interview and just trying to pick up any little hints that you could have some kind of a like flaw, basically. I've been a reference call for quite a few people. I've been the reference for quite a few people.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have too.
Many.
Like we don't say anything bad about the people that we've hired or that they're hiring.
If you ask me to be a reference and I agree, I'm 100% on your side and I'm going to help you get that job. But I feel like when they actually are making the calls, especially now, why would they call a bunch of people for like 5 different candidates? Like it's really, you're either the top choice or you're within the top 2.
Well, that's an important distinction to make here is like in most hiring processes, they're only calling the references of the one person they want to hire or maybe the top 2.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being, it takes a lot of time to connect with these people, to reach out, to have these conversations. So like if your references get a call, take that as a very good sign.
Let's give everyone a taste of what a reference call is like.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do a little activity, my favorite, where you're going to be the referee, the reference.
I think referee is the correct term.
Amazing. So I'm going to give you a character and I want you to rank that character's performance.
Okay.
So they're either poor, needs improvement, meets expectation, exceeds expectation, or they're outstanding.
Okay.
You can only give one of those categories one time.
Poor. What was the second one?
Needs improvement.
Needs improvement, meets expectation, exceeds expectation, outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a character and then I'm going to give you the trait.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to tell me. So based on that trait in that character.
Okay.
So for example, for this character, I'm curious about their communication skills. So I'm here to find out about Ted Lasso's communication skills.
Oh, Ted Lasso's communication skills, I'm going to say exceeds expectations.
Exceeds expectations.
You know how he's feeling. You know when he's upset. He's very direct, I'd say, but he's also kind and understanding. So yeah, Ted Lasso's communication skills exceed expectations. I'd give him a strong reference.
Okay, perfect. I'm here. Daffy Duck. Please tell me about Daffy Duck's ability to work with others.
I gotta say needs improvement. Daffy's got a little bit of a he's got a little bit of a temper. A little bit of ego. Ultimately, he tends to get the job done, but not in a way where I would say he's good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our next character, Ash Ketchum. Please tell me about Ash Ketchum's determination.
Outstanding.
Outstanding!
Yes. I always wanted to be Ash Ketchum. In fact, I spent many years pretending I was him in my Game Boy. And like he went from having no Pokemon at all to being the league, what's it called? The champion of the Elite Four within like 24 to 28 hours of playtime. Like that's pretty determined to get to the tip top. I realize I only have bad things or neutral things left to say, but yeah.
I
Big,
mean,
big
when
Ash fan.
you're like catchphrases, I mean, for gotta catch them all, like if you're taking on that task, you got to be determined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Please tell me about Captain Jack Sparrow. And I'm curious to hear about Captain Jack Sparrow and his trustworthiness.
Oh, I'm going to say that, like, ultimately, Captain Jack did have some issues with trustworthiness. So, but like, he also was reliable in the end. He pulled through. Mm, I'm, but he's a pirate. I'm going to say, what was the lowest score available?
There's poor, and I think
Poor.
meets expectations are your two.
I'm going to say poor. And I feel weird because that leaves us with a neutral answer for the last one. But I don't want to insult one of my favorite characters, which I would guess is coming up.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
So the last character I have is my favorite character, Leslie Knope.
Yes.
And I'm very curious about Leslie Knope's ability to take direction.
Oh, that's kind of perfect. Because if you had done Leslie Knope's determination, it would have been through the roof. Ability to take direction, I would say, is fine to hit at meets expectations because she is well willing to throw away like someone else's direction to either do the right thing or go above and beyond. Yeah, Leslie's a pretty free thinker and follows her own instincts. So yeah, I'm gonna say meets expectations on that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I've started to get references emailed to me with like a web form or a Word doc or a PDF that they said, hey, can you fill this out? Rank Leslie Knope's communication, ability to lead.
Yeah.
Tell me a quick story. And I got that. And I was a bit offended that I didn't get to have a phone conversation.
Yeah.
And it felt like you're just checking a box by saying, here's a reference. Like truthfully, I'm not going to put that much effort into it. So if I'm getting a reference via Word doc, you're not getting a big reference.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure to like write a short essay about each of these person's 6 traits they are asking about.
Yeah, why are we doing that? Why are we moving away from actual phone calls where we can learn about the candidate?
Because it's so much faster for the employer to just like probably automatically send that email to 16 people and then just look at the data that comes through after. Like for them, it's saving a lot of time. For us, very annoying as like the referees.
That's so selfish of the employer to save their own time and not prioritize who they're going to hire.
Oh, you're surprised the employers are being selfish?
True.
Is that I once got told not to hire someone in like a pretty subtle way. I was doing a reference call for someone I was seriously considering hiring. And I could tell that this person, their former boss, was afraid to say anything bad about them explicitly.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they told me answers to the questions with no enthusiasm at all.
Mm-hmm.
Does this person lead others well? She's been in multiple situations where she's had the chance to lead and she's executed on all the required tasks. It was like that, and I got the message.
Now, what about backdoor references? What are your thoughts on those? Because I think they're shady. I'm going to give you my perspective. I
Okay.
think they're shady, but they're the most valuable.
Yeah. So a backdoor reference is when they call someone who is not on the list you provided because maybe you have like some mutual connections through your network. I will be honest, I know that there are drawbacks to it. I've never hired someone without doing a backdoor reference. I don't hire a lot of people. I've hired only a couple to work for this company, all of
Mhm.
which I've known personally. And then any person I've hired for like past teams and past jobs, I made sure I either knew them or I knew someone who knew them. That's just like the networking of it all. So yeah, I'm doing backdoor references, and I I think we need to know that most people are.
That brings me to my next question: is like, when do you recommend confirming with your references that they're okay to still be your reference?
I would say just before that you are sharing that with any employer. So if it's the day before, like that's cool. If it's a week or two before you need to be putting that out there, that's a lot better. Just so they have time to say yes, time to send you their updated contact info.
What if they go on vacation and it's like the day before and they're already gone?
Yeah,
Right? That's then you might have to get a new reference. So I've been in that situation before. They're like, can't be your reference. It's tomorrow. I'm like, I'm out of the country.
yeah. Yeah, you do want to definitely let your references know that they are your references or get their permission like a few days in advance, a few weeks in advance is much better because then they know to be available.
And when do you hand over the references?
I always say, like, if they don't ask for them, have them ready at the interview.
Mm.
Nice printed out sheet. And it's just as simple as saying, these are my references in case you need them. And you hand them over. Or you can send that email in your thank you email. Thanks for interviewing me today. I had a great time learning about this and getting to know you all more. In case you need them, here are my references.
A last piece of advice is, how can I ask someone if they're willing to be a reference? Do you have any language or sentences that you would kind of recommend?
So if it's not your current employer, it's very easy. Hello, Jeff. Just wanted to let you know that I've started job searching again. Would you mind being a reference for me? And is this contact information I have for you correct? It's that easy to ask someone who's not your boss to be a reference. To ask your current boss, it's a bit more of a delicate situation. And you might want to do this over email so they have some time to react. But I would say something like, Dear Jeff, I wanted to give you a heads up that I have started to look around at possible next job opportunities. I'm not dead set on leaving, but I wanted to explore my options so I can continue to advance my career. I've had an amazing time working here with you. I've learned so much, and I think that has set me up for a successful next step. If you're willing, I would be so grateful if I could list you as a reference because I know that you could speak well to all the great work that we have done together. Thank you so much.
Mwah! That was
That
beautiful.
was off the top of the head.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
That's Greg, everyone. That's
Hey.
that's why Greg is who he is. All right. Well, now it's time for our unusual interview. The time where we ask each other questions that we hope you never get asked in an interview. So mine's connected a little bit to our game.
Mm.
If you were asked to be a reference for any character, who would it be and what would you say about them?
I think I would be a reference for um, early seasons Dwight Schrute.
Really?
Yes. The reason being is that Dwight, for years, was the top salesman in all of Dunder Mifflin, let alone Dunder Mifflin Scranton. He is very determined. He's incredible at his job. And ultimately, the only reason he lashes out is because he's feeling overlooked for what he wants, a manager role. So I think if given that opportunity, we saw later on as he did grow as a person, as a leader, he's a fantastic employee and well fit to be a manager of any sales team, especially in paper.
What a great reference.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, I have an unusual interview question for you. My question, I hope you never get asked in a job interview.
Talk to me.
How long does it take you to shave your head?
Great question, because I prepared for today, and it took about, 30 minutes as like a full head shave, beard. 30 to 45 minutes.
Excellent. Well, it looks fantastic.
Thanks. Honestly, I think Gillette changed their razor blade, and it was a smooth shave.
Great.
So
This podcast sponsored by
I wish
not Gillette.
not Gillette.
Although we're available and we have a spokesman.
I would love for Gillette to see this. Skin Guard. That's the razor blade. And it was fantastic.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been Next Job Now, and we are very excited to see you at our next episode where we are going to talk about...
Is it better to be unemployed?